Do you ever feel like you're constantly running out of time for the things you love, especially photography? Between work, family and everything in between, it feels like there's just never enough time to dedicate to your passion. But what if I told you it's not about having more time, but about making the most of the time you already have?
This video lays out my approach to the challenge of finding time, and in it I'll show you how to integrate photography into your life so that you can keep doing the thing you love no matter how hectic things get.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
For years I assumed that I was alone in that the biggest struggle I had with pursuing my photographic passion was that I just couldn't find enough time. After all the demands of daily life, finding the dedicated time and energy for photography just felt impossible, really. Recently though, not only have I learned that I've been far from alone in this struggle, but also that my approach to it has been completely wrong. We've all got those obvious time restrictions: the need to work, the need to care for and spend time with our family, the need to look after ourselves, and a whole host of other commitments that leave us more time poor than I think we've ever been before. But there's other more hidden and less talked about factors that are just as real but can be potentially even more creatively devastating. Procrastination, perfectionism and other mental blocks not only contribute to our lack of free time, but they can stop us even starting, even when we do find a spare hour. Now, I've faced all of these problems when it comes to my photography, so I know how hard and how frustrating it can be. But I also know that there is a way through.
Resolution 1. Integrate photography into your daily life.
You'll have heard me talk about this one before, but take a camera everywhere you go. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a camera. It can just be a phone. Just something that can make it so that you normalise taking photos on a daily basis. It could be on your commute to or from work. It could be on your lunch break, or it could just be if you just go out for a short walk somewhere. I'm lucky enough to have this about 15 minutes walk from my house, which is absolutely brilliant. But I'm sure people will say, well, I've not got that, I live in a city or whatever. But I think cities and towns, as long as we change our perspective a little bit, can offer us even more interesting opportunities for photography, especially in short time frames, than somewhere like this where there's not a lot going on at the moment. But for example, when I first moved here, this used to be a river and the river's changed course and now it's not, which is kind of an interesting thing to document within the landscape. You'll probably find that you aren't shooting exactly what you want to shoot, but having a mindset shift towards photographing anything can make a really big difference. I love shooting landscapes, but I went for a walk this morning with my film camera and took photos around my town of light falling on different things in interesting ways, which is so far removed from landscapes. Photographic opportunities are everywhere, and it's in these moments when we look for the interesting within the mundane that really help to build up our creativity. I also think it helps build our resilience towards procrastination and perfectionism, which I'm going to come back to a little bit later. I liken it to if I want to go for a run or go to the gym, and if I spend too long thinking about doing that thing, I'm just going to probably not do it because I come up with a lot of reasons not to do it. So what I do to overcome that is I put my kit out the night before. So I just put it on first thing in the morning, and then it takes away that decision. If you've got your camera with you all the time, it takes away the decision of should I take my camera with me. If you've already got it, you're going to use it. It's like if I've got my running kit on, the decision's made, I'm going for a run. If you've got a camera with you, you're going to end up taking photos. I've had so much joy from doing this over the last year, and despite wanting to be shooting landscapes, I've got so much creative fulfillment from shooting the everyday, and that's what it should all be about.
Resolution 2. Time management. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably hate the phrase time management, so please don't click off because I've used it, because I promise this is useful. There's a concept that Cal Newport set up in his book of the same title called Slow Productivity, which is basically a focus on meaningful work without pressure, and that is something that I've been trying to work towards recently. Using some of the principles within Cal's book, I've managed to start using my time better, and there's a couple of key ones. I believe that our perceptions over having a lack of time are actually built around comparisons with what other people are doing. In this sphere in particular, the amount of awesome work people are putting out and the frequency in which they're doing it. I often feel equally downtrodden and inspired when I go on social media now. There's so much great work out there which inspires me to do the best work I can, but I just feel like I can't keep up. Like I say, there's two tactics that I've been using when it comes to time management, and the first one is time blocking. Schedule in a dedicated photo session into your calendar and stick to it no matter what. It's easy to give these perceived luxuries less priority than other more important things in our life, but once it's in the calendar, it needs to be protected as if it's set in stone. Don't do what I've often done and wait until the day before and see if we can squeeze something in, because A, it probably won't happen, and B, if it is going to happen, the decision over where to go is often so paralysing that we just probably don't end up going anyway. Defend your photography sessions with your life. I did exactly that this morning when I went out and shot the start of this video. Did the conditions work out? Not really, no. Do I regret going? Not at all. I only ever regret not going. Another thing I've been doing is chunking time, taking small chunks of time and allocating them towards photography. This could just be 15 minutes here and there, and it ties in with the first resolution to just pick up your camera and go for a wander. It's all too easy to just waste those little periods of time that we get scrolling social media or similar, but you don't even have to go out. You can go into your garden, or you can look for how light comes into your house in interesting ways. There is always space for these little micro practices to fit in here and there. Also, if you're going to spend more time with your camera, you might want to think a bit more about what you do with those images afterwards. I've started batch editing so that I'm not coming into fresh images every single day, and I tend to do this at a time where it's not conducive to going out with my camera. So often in the evenings, if I've got a spare hour or two, I'll work through them on my iPad or similar. Slow productivity is something that I've become really interested recently, and I think it can tie in brilliantly with creativity and photography in particular. And I'm actually going to make a dedicated video on this topic at a later date. So if that's something that sounds like it's of interest to you, please hit the subscribe button and like this video while you're down there as well. Before we move on to resolution 3, I'd just like to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace. I'm guessing you've probably heard of Squarespace, but just in case you haven't, they are an all-encompassing website building platform. There are so many things that you can do with Squarespace that are valuable to photographers, like showing your images in the best way, hosting a blog, creating your own store, or even hosting a membership platform. And with their new Blueprint AI service, building a website has never been easier. And if you run into any problems, there's their award-winning 24/7 customer support to fall back on. Thankfully, I've not needed to use that yet, but I know if I ever do that I am completely covered. So if you want to save 10% and get a 14-day free trial, hit the link in the description below or use my name, Rick Bebington, as a discount code. Resolution 3, overcoming perfectionism and procrastination. I could make an entire video about perfectionism and procrastination, and maybe one day I will. But I'm going to try and condense what I've learned through many months of expensive therapy into a few things that are easy to follow, because I wouldn't want to overwhelm a procrastinator. The first thing is to embrace imperfection, which I realise sounds impossibly horrible, but making mistakes is the fastest way to learning. I said this a few videos ago, but none of your images ever have to see the light of day. Just enjoy what you're doing, immerse yourself in it, and don't worry too much about the images, which I know sounds counterintuitive. If we go out every single time expecting something Instagram worthy, then that's probably just going to create a pressure for us, which might stop us from even starting in the first place. And I know this is true because this has been me for a number of years now. So try not to think about the end result and just enjoy the process. So the second one is to find a community, either online or offline. One of the best things I did was to find a community of people who shared a similar interest in what I did that I could share my ideas with. This helped my procrastination so much because it gave me the motivation to get out and shoot more, and then that meant I could share my work with the community, use that to improve, use that to motivate myself further. I could vent, I could ask questions. It was just so valuable to my growth as a photographer and a creative. It just helped me to put my overthinking brain in a much better place. I'd absolutely love to create a community that brings together photography and filmmaking and the philosophies that I've set out over the last few videos. And
I think that's something I'm going to do over the next few weeks. So if that's something that you're interested in joining, sign up to the newsletter, and there's a link in the description below for that. And hopefully my procrastination won't get in the way of me doing this. Another tactic I've used to get past these self-destructive tendencies is to set really small goals to make it as easy for yourself as possible. Realistically, a 2 AM drive to a national park is probably going to feel a little difficult if this is something you struggle with. So make it as easy as possible and just pick up your camera and just take that with you, and that can be your goal. Whatever you can build into more of a habit will just help you so much over time.
Resolution 4, make it a habit.
If you plan on just going on a dedicated shoot every so often, I feel it's a lot harder to stick to than if it's just a continuation of a pre-existing habit. I made a video a couple of years ago that was very tongue-in-cheek called Every Landscape Photographer, and I think it perfectly sums up the feelings that a lot of us have when it comes to going on shoots when we don't get to do it very often. Small regular actions like the ones I've outlined in this video will not just lead to improvement over time, but will also lead to habit creation. As this progresses, our decision making when it comes to photography will get better, and it'll have a much bigger impact on our creativity than more sporadic but slightly larger efforts will. This, together with an emphasis on slow creativity with a focus on quality of shots rather than quantity of shots, will help to build our practice into something more sustainable, into something that we can find time for even when we think we can't, and overall into just something that's more enjoyable.
If you're going to take away anything from this video, please make it these 3 things. Number 1, integrate photography into your daily life. And the added bonus here is people that carry cameras these days look cool as. Number 2, consider the time management principles, even if you hate the term. Number 3, shift into a process of slow creativity. Also, I'm going to challenge you not only to carry an everyday camera with you, but to right now plan in a dedicated photo session that you will go on no matter what. Let me know where you're going to go. Let me know when you're going to go. I'm going to go out tomorrow morning. I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet. Obviously, I'm worried about choosing the wrong location. See you next time.